Hi, I'm Judith Graham, Ben Graham's wife, and I have to tell you, I love this week's sermon and the theme of the sovereignty of God. It's one of my favorite things to contemplate. I love going out in nature, especially looking at the stars and how numerous they are and thinking how small we are compared to everything, and hearing the roar of the ocean and how big and powerful it is, and knowing that our God is so much bigger than that. But one of the things that he had to teach me a few years ago was that my finite mind doesn't always understand and can't comprehend how he can be both good and sovereign when life is really painful. Ben and I were so excited. We got pregnant for the first time. We got a little too excited. We went out and he found a great deal on a crib, and I found a couple good deals on some maternity clothes, and then we lost the baby. And it was one of the deepest pains I've ever known. And truth be told, the second and third ones were just so much worse. But God was good. I ran from him sometimes and got mad, and sometimes I ran to him, and he continued to comfort me and held me through the whole thing. One day he taught me something very sweet, and I was listening to the radio while I was painting my house, and I was crying about how hurt I was. And he just lined up these songs so perfectly, songs of comfort, songs of peace, songs of pain. One of them was Laura Story's Blessings. But as that one was going, it reminded me of another one that he had just made very dear to my heart during this time, and that was Natalie Grant's Held. And it talks about how, who said we wouldn't be going through nightmares? Why should we not go through nightmares too as God's people? But then it also talks about how God is the one who holds us through those nightmares. And the preciousness of seeing God through those things is amazing. And in that moment, I remembered something, one of my favorite memories. When I was a little girl, and still actually, I have really, really, really bad nightmares. And my dad would come in and he would sit with me for a long period of time and rub my back and love on me and care for me and tell me stories and say sweet things. And I can't tell you how much I treasured those times of feeling so safe and secure and loved. And it struck me for the first time, I would never have known that safety, that security, that love if it hadn't been for the nightmare I just had. And I can't tell you how that just washed over me. And I just suddenly knew that the Lord was right there with me, going through that nightmare with me, and that he was going to bring good out of it. And so my hope and my prayer for you is that if you are going through anything difficult, more difficult than you could have imagined, more painful than you would have ever thought, and you are questioning how the sovereignty of the Lord lines up with his goodness and his love, that you too will remember, you will stop and you will remember, you will run to your God and let him hold you through it. Because he is the God of all comfort. He is the God who owns a cattle on 1,000 hills, and so he can provide anything you need. He is a loving father who loves to give his children good gifts. And he is the one who sent his own son to die for us. That's how much he loves us. And one of my favorite verses in Romans talks about how he brings good out of every situation for those who love him. And he does. Even out of our miscarriages, he brings such sweet ways to minister to other people. He taught us so much about clinging to him and loving him, knowing him. And he made it all the sweeter when he provided two wonderful children for us through foster and adoption. And so I just pray for you that you will run to that God who loves you so much, who is sovereign over everything, that you will find him to be all that you need, and that you will wait on him and watch him bring beauty out of the ashes. God bless you.